Here are some drawings. And he did some drawings of old horror movies that were done in a particular style. And it was a terrific poster. Graham's first poster, this kid has never done a poster in his life. That was the kind of decision we were making on The Evil Dead. It wasn't just the film itself, it wasn't us cashing in on a movie that we could do a few videos on. It actually established what Palace became. Then we did something really audacious. We released the film theatrically, in cinemas, and on video at the same time. This was unheard of.
I think the first and indeed the last time this has ever been done. And we were a bit naughty because we didn't really tell either side that we were doing that.
The rank circuit, who realised we got away with this trick, went completely balmy, went completely nuts. We figured that at that point, the cinema audience, the video audience, was so different and separate that we could hit both at the same time.
Evil Dead was massive on video. It was the biggest renting video according to some of the magazines that particular year.
It was the biggest video hit of its time, of its year. I think it sold 50,000 copies in 1 year, which its sell-through, which was I think between 40 and 50 pounds at the time.
And the theatrical was also successful, but not to the same extent, but still for a horror movie, an independent horror movie that cost, 10 cents, it was a massive success.
Evil Dead became a landmark film in terms of people realising that video was here to stay and was a big deal. It became a landmark film for censorship, because as well as being an incredibly successful film, it became a very controversial film.
The first thing I recall hearing was various shops calling up our people and reporting that they had received notices of one sort or another from the public prosecutor's office.
And certainly a lot of dealers and wholesalers were being raided. It appeared on the list with another 10 video nasties, and we got swooped up with a bunch of other video nasties, including titles like The Burning, Driller Killer, SS Gestapo. I mean, titles that were pretty much more out there than Evil Dead was.
Unlike some of the other movies that have been labelled video nasties, this was clearly a fantasy film. The undead and weird-looking incarnations, and therefore, in a way, not nasty. But I've never been a believer in censorship for anybody who is of age.
I'm not very pro-censorship.
After we lost some of the early cases in small villages because we just weren't able to respond to them quick enough, put our defence together and get out there.
Nick really put himself on the line by testifying for the film.
We went to this strange court somewhere in East London for this test case. I took one look at the jury and I thought, we're going to win this, because they were clearly ordinary, as you would expect a jury to be, ordinary, straightforward working people. Those kind of people believe that they should select their own entertainment as adults. What happened was that, first of all, it was clear the jury hadn't seen the film, so arrangements were made to show them the film.
God knows what they thought. Jesus Christ.
Sam had to fly to England to testify without any sleep. He arrived in England, took a train up north wherever they were having the trial, sat in the courtroom, and the lawyer said, well, the director is here. He can say a few words. And the judge said, we don't need to hear from the director. So Sam got back on the train and came back in the plane and came back to the States without ever having testified.
It was that the judge, summoned us over and said he had watched the film and he didn't think there was a case for us to answer.
Video, as I say, boomed so big so quickly that when it was this sort of annoying little thing, it was just like, oh, it will go away, oh, it doesn't matter, who cares, it's just a bunch of perverts. And suddenly when Evil Dead hit so big, and suddenly the cinema chain's going, whoa, what's happening here? How many units of that have they sold of that? But this is a respectable film, we're showing it in our cinemas, this is crazy, we've got to protect our industry, we can't let these little guys make money. And when Star Wars and all the other movies being released on video, and suddenly the majors are seeing they're making money, it was kind of a slight suppression of the independence. So on one hand, it was partly a censorship thing, but I think more importantly, it was how the majors wrested control again. Okay, let's arrest some of them. Let's get them banged up.
What happened was they introduced the Video Recordings Act.
But a lot of smaller companies got whacked, into the ground because of that Video Nasties bill.
And it took some time before The Evil Dead was given a video certificate under the new act.
After the success of The Evil Dead, we had always had as a company policy an attitude towards filmmakers. We wanted to encourage filmmakers to feel that we were part of their family and they were part of ours. So we wanted Sam's next films. I mean, that was it. We was a big success with Evil Dead 1. We wanted Evil Dead 2 not simply to court controversy, but because we saw him as a filmmaker and part of our family.
But he's gone on to make some fantastic films since, of which Simple Plan is just fantastic, Sam. I just thought I'd let you know that in case you see this.